allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Words have meaning. There's an old saying that a wounded fox will seek its own den. My dad had his own way with words. And while he might not always have gotten the precise words down exactly as intended, can you hear me okay? As intended, his meaning would generally be or become obvious. Once during a family discussion where the wounded fox cliche would have been appropriate, my dad paraphrased it by stating, well, you know, a dog will smell his own hole first. Now, that's close, but no cigar. But what the thing you want to remember is words do have meaning. My name is Bill Parker. I'm a native Kentuckian. I was born in Radcliffe, just outside the Fort Knox Gate, and grew up in Cecilia, a little town here in Hardin County, about 6 miles away. Well, not even that far. I went to grade school, high school, and college here in Kentucky. My wife Mary graduated from high school and received several degrees here in Kentucky. 2 of our 3 kids either have or are working on their degrees here in Kentucky. Our oldest graduated from the University of Phoenix, and I don't know what happened with him. He's crazy, I guess. I love this country and I love this state. Mary and I have been married for over 35 years. And as I stated, we have 3 children. We also have 2 beautiful grandchildren. My father served in World War II in Korea, in both the Army and as a Marine. Mary's father served in the Army as well. I joined the Air Force, and both our sons served this country in the military. Our youngest, Matthew, was in the Air Force for 5 years, and Zachary was in the Navy for 11. Zachary just returned home from a year in Iraq in December. I retired from civil service on New Year's Eve in 2004 and returned to work for the Corps of Engineers at Fort Knox in 2007. During my civil service career, we literally lived and worked from coast to coast. We lived and worked in Maryland, California, Arizona, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and Washington, D.C. Not to mention here in Kentucky at Fort Knox, Lexington, and Louisville. We watch the news, and we read the columnists in the paper and on townhall.com. And now, to paraphrase Michelle Obama, for the first time in my adult life, I fear for my country. For the first time in my adult life, I'm really afraid we're losing the ideals and the principles that have made the United States of America the greatest country in the history of the world. I see our futures and the future of our children and grandchildren being frittered away by ignorant and arrogant politicians who constantly claim to care about the taxpayer, mostly at voting time, while in reality they care nothing about what we, the people, want or need. The politicians treat the performance of their duties as a game. They argue and blame and pontificate with each other on television, and then go out together for drinks and dinner on our dime and laugh at us, the rubes. Well, friends, this is not a game. This is real life. This is our life. And words have meaning. I'm becoming angrier and feeling more disenfranchised every day. The constant references to the bottom dropping out of our current financial, employment, environmental, educational, healthcare, auto, banking, insurance, or other industry does nothing except further depress the economy. Everything is a crisis or a catastrophe that has to be solved immediately, and the only way to solve the crisis is to throw trillions of dollars at it. Have you noticed that we don't even discuss millions any longer? And billions are now tossed off as an accounting error. Each crisis is referred to as a game changer or some other sports idiom. Such banal references diminish the serious nature of what's going on in this country. Words have meaning. If the potential failure of any of the industries that Congress has allowed to become too big or too powerful to fail is nothing more than a game, the seriousness of the situation is lost. Hiring a speed reader to read the stimulus bill, meeting and voting on bills in the dead of night, bringing 1,300-page bills to a vote without lawmakers having read them, let alone actually discuss them, is treated as a game, and then constantly blaming the previous administration for everything being done by this one has to stop. This is not a game. It's not a joke. It's demeaning to the citizens and to the taxpayers of this country. Do our elected officials really hold us in such contempt? Can it be that they feel that they have so successfully gerrymandered the voting districts that they cannot be defeated at the polls? Have they pulled the wool so far down over our eyes that they can openly laugh in our faces and we'll simply shrug our shoulders and keep re-electing them? The celebrities like Bill Maher, Rosie O'Donnell, and David Letterman believe that they're somehow immunized against the consequences of their words and actions, no matter how outrageous those words. Friends, words do have meaning. I, for one, am so incredibly weary of hearing politicians of all stripes tell us how evil America is, how greedy Americans are, and how all the ills of the world are somehow our fault. I'm fed up with the likes of Sean Penn and Brad Pitt and Barbara Streisand telling us how great Cuba and Iran and Venezuela are, while Chavez and Castro are jailing and killing and beating and starving their citizens. At the same time, those celebrities are telling us how depraved and wicked and downright mean we are as Americans. I'm sick of hearing the likes of Jeremiah Wright continue to denigrate American people and hearing him call the United States the U.S. of KKKA. I do not want to hear Professor William Ayers say he wished he could have done more bombing while standing on the American flag as a university professor. I'm bone tired of people like faux Native American Ward Churchill and faux civil rights leader Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton beat the racism drum and lecture this country on how bigoted we Americans are. This is not a partisan issue for me. My disgust is not with the Democrats or the Republicans or the Independents. I swear, if you stripped all of the politicians in this country naked and whipped them through the streets, you'd be hard-pressed to tell one from the other. I'm tired of hearing governors like Mark Sanford and Eliot Spitzer preach ethics and morality to me. I don't care how many women they've been with outside their marriages. I'm tired of Congressman Barney Frank's boyfriend being allowed to run a homosexual prostitute